Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show, and happy birthday to me. We got three before I even turned on the monitor, or as soon as I turned on the monitor, I saw three super chats. Mike Clark, JB, and Angie B. Thank you so much for getting us started. So that means I got to get started with three shots before we even get going here. So tomorrow could be dangerous. Tomorrow could be dangerous, and to bring in the new birthday, I got a new Coach Cruz shot glass. Now I only have one of these. Before anybody asks, like, hey, I want one of those. uh I don't know what, like, it reverberated back at me just now. That's weird. That's never done that before. I hope it doesn't keep doing that. What is going on? Hold on a second, let me see if I can fix this. Echo cancellation. Sorry about that. We are having technical difficulties, everybody. Still getting it. Oh goodness. All right. Let me try to go back out and come back. I will. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully we're better now. I'm gonna find out in just a second if it starts reverberating back at me. Oh my god. All right. So what I'm hearing my own voice coming back at me, and I'm glad you all can hear it coming. Let me just gonna try to turn the volume down here on my end and see if that helps. So hopefully everybody can still hear me. Um, yeah, my sound was coming back. I'm sure it would start bothering you. Okay, so we got shots to do. All right. Let's see. We got Mike Clark, JB. I think JB had said Williams single barrel. We have this almost on here, so I'm gonna put the volume even a little bit lower. So long as you guys can hear me, that's all I care about. And I will find that out in just a second. But here we go with the first shot for Mike here. And then if I have another, we'll hear a JB. And here we go with our new shot. And we got to take care of Zoe too. I don't forget about her. Hopefully, we got enough in here. But if we don't, we'll have to do a blend. We're going to have to do a blend. So we killed the Evan Williams single barrel. How about we top that off with some trace? Here we go. All right, and I do have prizes, by the way. Okay, and so we had the first one was Mike Clark. Second one here is JB, and the third one is Angie. And welcome back, Angie. We haven't seen Angie in a little bit, so it's great to see you back, the original Charlie's Angel. And here we go. We got a second of the Buffalo Trace. All right. We're getting started off with a bang today. And big quacks for Mike, JB, and Angie. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the comments to make sure you all can hear me. Okay. Okay. Cheryl is saying I sound fine. So that's good. I can't hear myself reverberating back at myself. Um, that's important because that was going to sound really bad. All right. So let me say hi to you. But before I say hi to everybody, let me explain how this is going to work. Let me post in the comments again these categories. So if you want to grab some paper and a pen or a pencil, this is how it's going to work. And I asked admin Tim, I messaged admin Tim today, and he's in the chat. I see, and thank you for that, Tim and Cheryl, and thank you for all the birthday shout outs. I will read through a bunch of those here in just a second. But how this is going to work, I think this is going to be fun. So you have 5 categories. Okay, you have your cruise director category. All right, and for $5, you can choose John Heath. Like, I've never gotten John Heath as a cruise director, but he was the inaugural cruise director of like 16 different ships. So he's a legend. I don't think anybody will ever do that. Okay. And obviously, this is for people that, have cruised Carnival and kind of know Carnival. $4 cruise director is your choice of Lee Mason or Cookie. You got the choice of Lee Mason or Cookie. Now, those guys are retired, but in my activity, you can bring them back to life. And you can bring back Lee Mason or Cookie or Matt Mitchum. There are some big Matt Mitchum fans still out there that would love to bring him back for a cruise if they could. So if you pick any one of those and you list the one that you want, that will cost you $4. Not real $4, fake $4. Monopoly, right? For $3, good value with Kendall Flyer, arguably the most popular cruise director with Carnival that's active. MarQ, another one that many of you is their favorite, and Jackie Tang, which I'm getting the pleasure of cruising with. I've heard great things about next month. Okay, now for $2, you can bring back some more legends. Maybe not the hoopla that the first legends did, but Emma, she was the inaugural cruise director of the Panorama. Jamie D, who I can't even begin to tell you how many cruise directors have told me what she was in terms of an inspiration. I have meant to have her on my show. I've talked with her a couple times. We've tried to set it up a couple times and it just hasn't worked out. But we're going to get Jamie D on the show at some point. And Mike Pack, who is married to Emma and was the inaugural cruise director of Horizon and the Mardi Gras. So if you cruise with any of those, and then only $1 for any cruise director out there that has been a cruise director for 1 to 3 years within Carnival. Okay, so those are all your cruise director choices. Now, let me tell you first, before you go spending money and say, okay, I'm going to spend $5 on this guy or $3 on this person, whatever. You have a budget of $15 total for 5 categories. All right. So your next category is your embarkation port. Okay. So Miami, we're talking about day 0 here. You're getting in the day before the cruise and you're going to make an extra day out of your vacation. So where do you want to go? You want to go to Miami? Okay. That's going to cost you $5. You want to go to New Orleans? I love New Orleans. The food there, that whole experience. If you want to go out to Bourbon Street for a night, whatever, you got a choice of New Orleans. Galveston, another great port. Long Beach, for you West Coast people out there, if you're doing the whole Mexican thing, Cabo San Lucas and all that. And then $1, you got to go out of Norfolk. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Norfolk, but, just in terms of a day 0 party and stuff, it's not going to be the same party that you might get in New Orleans or even Galveston. But, it's okay. And if you're on a budget, maybe, you only want to spend $1. There you go. You go with the North. Okay, now here's itineraries. These are obviously important for a lot of people cruising. So for the $5 itinerary, I picked the ABCs. Bonaire, and Curaçao. If you want the $4 itinerary, it's St. Martin, St. Thomas, Amber Cove, San Juan. You get 4 ports. Good deal. $4 a port. The $3, this might be the best value of all. You get Cozumel, Roatan, Belize, and Grand Cayman. All 4 of those for only $3. For $2, if you're bargain hunting, you get Celebration Key, Cozumel, Roatan, and Nassau. And for $1, you get Nassau, Celebration Key, and Key West. Okay, that's your itinerary. All right, now we're talking about cabins. What type of cabin do you want to be in? So for $5, big spenders out there, you can get into a Vista class Havana area cabin balcony for $5. For $4, you can get into a junior suite in an XL class ship. For $3, you can have a regular balcony on any ship of your choosing throughout the Carnival fleet. For $2, you can get a standard ocean view on any ship. And then $1 is an interior, standard interior on any ship. Okay. So that is that category. And then the final category is your dining, what you're eating. So for $5, the chef's table. On some ships, I think it costs as much as $150 a person. I know on some ships it costs at least $130 per person. But so 130 to 150, depending upon the ship. For $5, you can have that ship's table. $4 will get you either the Steakhouse or Bonsai Teppanyaki, your choice. $3 will get you into Cucina del Capitano if you like the Italian, or if you like the Asian, we get you to JiJis. For $2, you get to eat in the main dining room. Whatever's on the menu, that's what you get to eat. And then for $1, you're relegated to the buffet. And the buffet has good food, has a lot of the same food that you might find in the main dining room, just without the wait and without the waiters and wait staff and things like that. So if you're bargain hunting, there you go. You get the $1 buffet. Okay, so here is the prize that you're going for. I have 2 of these, and here's what I asked Admin Tim to do. So first off, I need you to say in the comments that you're in. You're in for this game. Okay. I have my selection already here. Okay. I have all my choices right here. I'm covering them up with my hand. I am going to share those choices that I've made after everybody that says they're in this activity has chosen. And what you have to do is you have to not go over. Like the Price is Right. If you go over, you lose, you're done, whatever. You can't go over $15. You have to pick one selection from each of those 5 categories that I just mentioned, and it can be under $15, but it cannot be over $15. Okay. And here's how we're going to determine the winners of the prize. Whoever gets closest to matching my choices. So if you want to pick based on what you think I would choose, you can do that. Or if you're like, hey, I think like Coach, so I'm going to just pick what I want. And or if you want to post 2, you can post what I think coaches think. We will take what I think coaches think choices as far as your entry, if you want to go through the work there. So I've already made my selections. They're already made. And then if we get anybody that gets it exactly right, of course we get a hat. And I have 2 of these. I've got 2 of these. They're still in the package. You see, they got the little Coach Cruise. They got the ocean blue. Their trucker's hat. I don't want to take them out of the package. I want to keep them fresh and new like that. So, by the way, in case anybody is saying, hey, what if I don't win? I want to order a hat. These are not the hats that I'm going to go with. These are samples that I ordered. And I'm not set on them yet. I am gonna start ordering hats, but I don't think this is the one that I'm gonna go with. I like the color scheme and everything else like that. I think I want the logo centered, not off to the side like that. So I'm not sold on these. So these are why they're prizes. So that's what we're doing there. But I think this is a fun activity. I saw this on actually a Raiders podcast. They did this and they asked, okay, you can pick one of these four quarterbacks, you can pick one of these four running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, and they had $1. And they gave everybody a budget. And I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. I need to do this for the show. So that's how I came up with the idea. I started it. I'm ashamed to admit it. But yeah. All right. So while you all are making your guesses, hopefully, and you know what? Let me post again the categories. Yeah, I copied and pasted. So hopefully it pops up again. You did. Okay. So there we go. I am sharing that again. Wait a minute. YouTube rejected your comment, which usually means they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let me erase the T and I'll go TT. Let's see if they take it. Okay, they took that one because I just changed one letter. That's weird. All right. Let me say hello to everybody. We got Klesko71 getting the goal today. Says happy birthday, everyone. Greatly. And again, while I'm saying hello to everybody, figure out your math. Make sure you don't go over $15. Pick your favorite five. And again, if you have your own favorite five, you can separate it. But if you're trying to win the prize, if you're trying to win one of the hats, um, say coach's choices below your own choices. We will count your coach's choices once. If you only put one down, that's the one that we're going to count as your entry. But admin Tim is admin Tim for a reason. He's great at this stuff. We'll go through and once I feel like everybody has entered their entry or whatever, we're going to go through a lot of the entries and see, because I think it's fun. Honestly, I think it's fun to see what everybody picked, how they used their money, what they thought was the best choice, and things like that. And anybody watching this on replay, go ahead and please post in the comments what your choices were, because I'll get a kick out of going back and be like, oh, okay, I see how you did this, whatever. So yeah, that's cool. We got Sean in the house saying happy birthday, coach. Thanks for your hours of awesome cruise content. Excellent cruise advice, and for being the advocate for carnival cruisers left behind in the New Orleans program, and I will keep doing that. Yes. I'm a strong advocate for that. Stand up for what's right. And it's not right that loyal cruisers have been left behind. Cruising Chris Moss. And look, Cruising Chris Moss, I just got these mail today from Cruising Chris Moss, and I already got, where's it at? Here. Cruising Chris Moss's sticker is back on the wall. I had messaged him because I didn't want him to think that I left his sticker off or took his sticker off the wall. It had fallen off. As a matter of fact, that little sticker I have, it fell off the wall. It wasn't sticky enough, I guess, to stick to the wall. So I didn't ask him to send me new stickers, but he did it anyway. So some of these stickers are going to go on my suitcase. I already have a Cruising Chris Moss sticker on this cup. I got another cup. So well decked out. Cruising Chris Moss has great merch. Go check out his channel. He might supply you with some merch. Silk 67 says 32 days, coach. All right. Yeah, 32 days. I'm guessing Silk is on the same cruise as me on the Mardi Gras cruise. And saying happy birthday. I appreciate that. Mike Clark, happy birthday, coach. I hope you had a great day. And as I mentioned, Mike Clark was one of the first super chat. Right behind Mike was JB saying happy birthday, coach. JB and I are going to do the New Year's Eve cruise together. Carnival Magic. Saying happy Tuesday, everyone. And he's going to be on the Mardi Gras in 60 days. So I'm going to beat him there by about a month. Edmund Tim, who I just mentioned, saying hello to everybody. You saying hello to everybody in the chat prior. Let me scroll down and find some new people I haven't mentioned. And Angie Brooks, the Merry Mixer, anybody in the Ohio area, especially if you're in the Dayton, Ohio area, have to message me so I can get you in contact with Angie Brooks, the Merry Mixer, because if you want the best cookies in the state of Ohio, Angie's responsible for that. And she did a super chat saying, "Happy birthday later this week, Coach." And yes, my birthday is not today. By the way, happy birthday, Liz from Carnival Cruise Addicts. Liz, she's probably not watching. She's going out and celebrating her birthday, but her birthday is actually today. It's today. I'm pretty sure it's today. Or it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was today. Some people were saying happy birthday yesterday, but I think it's today. So happy birthday, actual birthday, Liz from Carnival Cruise Addicts. Mine is not until Friday. So this is from Mike. Okay, you have several treats, but high five for Mike. And then we have JP, and then we have Angie. And Zoe says thank you. She was getting Legion Rider, and Legion Rider, I mentioned you in the most recent video I released. You were one of the comments of the video that I released before this last video. So I read that comment. I read JB, who is also in the comments today. And that video is getting a lot of traction. It's got almost a couple thousand views now in less than a day and a half. Nancy Whitney saying happy birthday. Thank you, Nancy. So, Coach, we are far. We are here. Happy birthday here. Oh, wow. 2 a.m. Where the heck you at, Salsa? 2 a.m. Look at that. It's crazy. And Legion Rider, speaking of Legion Rider, look at that. We got a $10 super chat from Legion Rider. Let me write that down. Legion Rider, you are number 61 through 70. Mike, you are 6th. Henry from last week was 1 through 5. Mike Clark, 6 through 15. JB, 16 through 40. Angie, 41 through 60. Legion Rider, now 61 through 70. And thank you. Thank you for that, Legion Rider. Tim says, okay. So, yeah, this was my the thing, the audio problem I was having. Gerard says, happy birthday. Thank you, Gerard. Justin saying happy birthday, and Charlene saying happy birthday. Thank you. Sandy saying happy birthday. Thank you. Miguel is a cardiac Cub fan. And yes, it's pitchers and catchers reporting. Spring training baseball is here. The Cubs are in action. The Cubs are not going to be bad this year. The Cubs, they made the playoffs last year. You know, we got some things going. Okay. I don't know if they're going to like beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers are like the evil empire, right? You know, they just spend like $5 billion and assemble like an all-star team, and you got to try to take down the all-star team, the mighty empire or whatever, with just some Jedi Knights and stuff. That's kind of what it is. I kind of feel like it's cheating in a way. This one's for JB. Angie next. High five. High five. JB, what do you say? And I think, once again, Adele says happy birthday. Thank you, Adele. Christina, thank you. Happy birthday. Hello to Zoe. Hello, Zoe. Tailgate Terry, happy birthday, Coach. Watch all your videos. First time live. Tailgate Terry, I appreciate the name. It is a great name. I love Tailgate. So very cool. Very cool name. Thank you for checking in for your first live. We got to give you a quack for your first live. Thank you for that. We got our resident comedian in the house. Got any new jokes, Brad? We can't wait to hear him. Brad says, happy birthday, Coach. We got Juanita. How's he? D1J. Happy birthday. Thank you, Juanita. Together We Travel is here. What's up, Together We Travel? Okay, Angie's in. This is when I started asking the question about who's in the game. Angie is in. Tailgate Terry is JB is in. All right. So, and I listed all the choices there. Um, okay. So this is when I need, Tim to help me out here with math. Tim is good with math. He's helped me out with this stuff before. So Angie was the first one to post some results here. So her choices. She says $1 any cruise director from 1 to 3 years. So all the new cruise directors, and there's some really, really great up and coming cruise directors. I just came off the Carnival Venezia and interviewed Yaria. He's one of these up and coming cruise directors that's really good. Tyler from the Horizon, I interviewed not too long ago, or I didn't interview him, but I was on his ship, and he's really good. I mean, there's a lot of good cruise directors. Gabby Gamboa, I haven't cruised with her, but I've seen her when she was a Fun Squad member on Lee Mason's Fun Squad, and then later I saw her through videos and stuff on Kendall Fire's Fun Squad, and she's graduated to be cruise director. She's doing great things. Those are just a couple. So, Angie is mentioning them. $3 to go out of Galveston, $4 to go out of the wait. I'm confused. What's the Saints? You're confusing me, Angie. The Saints. Okay. So Galveston's your protocol. Any cruise director. The Saints. Oh, I get it. Okay, that's your itinerary. Also, so St. Thomas, St. Martin. Okay, I got you. I got you got to take it easy. I mean, I've done 2 shots already. So $1, $4, Galveston, then $4 the Saints. So St. Thomas, St. Martin, all that. $5. She's going $5 the Havana, and then that $2 main dining room. So let's see, 7, 11, 14, and 15. Yeah, it adds up. Okay, it adds up. All right, so those are her choices. And admin Tim, you know what? Admin Tim, I apologize for this. I should have given you my choices ahead of time. As a matter of fact, let me send admin Tim a screenshot of my choices, so that will make it easier for him to do the math. So you can tell what's going on here. I just took a picture of my screenshots and I got to send it to admin Tim. This is happening on live television right now. Here is the list. Un momento. Let's see. Okay. Picture. Boom. Okay, admin Tim, I just sent you my choices. So admin Tim got my choices. And then that way, what you can do is as I'm reading off these lists, he can determine how close somebody is. So how we're going to do this, since we're talking about it right now, is if you are one off, right, that's -1. If you're 2 away, so in other words, just hypothetically, let's say I picked John Heald. Okay, I'm not saying we didn't pick him or didn't pick him. Let's say I picked John Heald. He was $5, right? If you thought that I picked the $1 any cruise director, 5 minus 1, that's 4. -4 points that you lose. But if I did pick John Heald and you also said I'd pick John Heald, then that's a score of 0. So you're trying to get, you know, as close as 0 and no negative score. So like 4 -1, -2, or -3, that means you were only 1, 2, or 3 away from, the perfect choices, how close you are to mine. So that's how it's gonna work. And hopefully there's only 2 people. If they're not, we'll figure something out. Okay. Okay. All right. You know what? So yes, see, you're making it hard. Okay, so this I think I can guess this. Nancy says I'm in with Cookie, so I'm almost certain Cookie is $4. Norfolk would be $1. That's $5. Nassau Celebration Key and Key West. I think it's the $1 one. That would be $6. Standard balcony, I think, is the $3 one. Seven, eight, nine. And then the chef's table is five, which would make $14. So Nancy Whitney, that's her choices if I'm correct. Okay. So yeah, it helps if you guys put the money buddies like Angie. All right. K Fire I know is $3. Okay. JB, $3. New Orleans, I think, is the three is it $3 or $4? And then Tim will know this. So it's either $3 or $4. So these are at 6 or 7. I know the Cozumel one is $3. So that's either 9 or 10. Regular balcony is $3. That's either 12 or 13. And the main dining room is $2. So you're at 14 or $15, JB. So that's what his is. Okay. Will G is in the house. He says, evening off from the Carnival Dream. What up, Will? Well, you can play this game too if you're quick. Tailgate Terry. I don't know what that means. 15423. You gotta be tailgate Terry. Put your answer. We still have comments to go, but you got to be a little bit more. I think what you're saying is you want the $1 cruise director, you want the $5 port of call, which would be Miami. You want the $4 itinerary. I forget. I think that's the states. Um, you want the ocean view cabin. You want Cucina. That's the order in which I put the thing. So I think that's what you're saying. But if that's not, then Ryder, I appreciate that reference to the most recent video. All right, Mike Clark, we got some more specific stuff here. All right, we got MarQ. That's a $3 choice. We got the Cozumel itinerary. That's a $3 choice. That's $6. We got New Orleans. I think that's the $4 one. That's $10. We have the Steakhouse, which I think is the $4 one. That's $14. And then we have the standard interior, which is $15. That qualifies. Thank you, Mike. You did it right. Oh my goodness. Still So Green is in Tunisia. What's going on in Tunisia? We got David Kunda saying happy birthday. Appreciate that, my friend. Legion Rider until they play my Cardinals. Oh no, Cardinal fans. It's a rivalry right there. Los Angeles Dodgers, dollar signs. Well done. Well done. Luke, what's the best way to use your phone while on the island? Depends on what island you're talking about and what phone carrier you have, to be quite honest. And clarifying St. Martin, St. Thomas. Kelly, my YouTube is in and out tonight. No TV at all. Good luck, Coach. Well, thank you, Kelly, for appreciate that. And happy birthday as well. Thank you. Mary Schaefer, Coach Cruz. She is going with Kendall Fire. That's a $3 from Galveston Port. That's $6. The interior cabin for one, that's 7. She gets the steak for 4. That's 11, and she's doing the St. Martin itinerary. That makes 15. So Mary Schaefer, thank you. Well done. Wanda Jane Montgomery, happy birthday, Coach Cruz, and Wanda. Victoria, happy birthday from California, and thank you. Gerard, $1 any cruise director, $3 going out of Galveston, $4 the Saints, St. Thomas. Um, that's $8, $5 the Havana, Vista class in Havana area with the balcony. Okay. It's 7, 8, 13. Look at that. I can still make $15 counting the main dining room. So that counts, Gerard. That counts. Cruise Life TV. Look at that. They are on the Mardi Gras. I remember them saying now that they're here, just jump on. You're on the Mardi Gras to wave a hand, wish you a happy early birthday. Thank you for Cruise Life TV and enjoy the rest of your cruise. They are on there with Controversial Cruising, Scott and Mark from the Cruise World. I know those are the two other content creators. There might be more than that, but I know those three are on there. Obviously, Cruise Life TV. So enjoy your cruise, Greg and Michelle, and say hi to Scott and Greg. I told them already to your previous message, but say it to them again. Uh, okay. All right, so Celso Green is in Tunisia because he's visiting his son. All right, that's a great reason to be there. We got K Deb saying happy birthday. Thank you, K Deb. I appreciate that very much. Mandy's in the house and she is a member. She says happy birthday, coach. And look at that. We got Mary Schaefer in the house doing a $5 super chat. So let me break that down. Mary Schaefer. All right, so 71 through 75. And I did not forget. Come here, Zell. We got Angie, the Mary Mixers super chat. What do you say? She says, thank you. And you know what? Legion Rider, I know you did a $10 super chat, so that gets Zoe another treat. So I will set that one aside there. Yeah, anybody that's new to the channel, you do a $10 super chat that gets Zoe a treat. Zoe, my little dog there. And you do a $15 super chat. Not only does Zoe get a treat, but I get a shot in your honor as well. So we did 3 shots already today. So we're feeling a little toasty already. And Mary, thank you. And what Mary is now, she is entered in the drawing to win either a free cooler. You got these big coolers. You got it right here. So if I call numbers 71 through 75, Mary has her choice of winning one of these big coolers. You can hold it out like a case and a half with ice and probably a few snacks too. Or she can choose a Coach Cruise t-shirt of her color and size, obviously. So you can do if I call numbers 71 through 75. Those are your numbers, Mary, and I think we're going to get there today because Cruising Chris Moss just got us a little bit closer. And let me pull out another treat for Zoe. My treat sitting, and I need to do a shot because Cruising Chris Moss. Chris, I mentioned you just a little bit earlier. I know Chris is working, so he's going to be in and out. So let's see. Chris is 76. I got a math again. That's 90. So we are only 10 away from doing a drawing. He says, happy birthday, coach. Treats for you and Zoe still at work. Single barrel. Okay. So I don't have the single barrel because we cashed that. Chris. That is no longer. So what I will do is I'll do the next closest thing. I will do the small batch. The small batch, not the single barrel, but the closest I can get to a single barrel is a small batch. So we are doing the 4 roses for Chris, and thank you for that super chat. Here is shot number 4. Thank you. If you have not already hit the like button, if you could hit that like button, it would be much appreciated. Please, let's get some more entries here. Because I have to share my entry, and then we have to tabulate the closest so we can see who can win these fancy trucker hats with the button, the plastic button thing. You guys know what those hats look like. Oh, I'm just not going to light over. Okay. So, yeah, let's get a couple more entries in. And you know what? Let me share for anybody that's coming in late. Let me post the comments once again. Hopefully, YouTube take it. All right. So there is the choices. So what you have to do is you get a budget of $15. All right. So from the cruise director list, you get John Heald for $5. That's your $5 choice. If I would love to go on a cruise or go back and go on a cruise with John Heald. He's the legend among cruise directors. He was the inaugural cruise director for I think 16 different ships. That would be awesome to do it with him. Um, Two of my close friends. Well, I can't say they're my close friends. Like we, hang out 4 or 5 times, but good friends, true friends. Lee Mason and Cookie. Um, they are obviously no longer cruise directors, but Lee still works for the company. He's a fleet cruise director, and sometimes he does a cameo cruise director. If Carnival needs it on a ship. But so Lee Mason, Cookie, or you can bring back from a few years ago. Some people still remember Matt. So for $4, you can get any one of those gentlemen. For $3, you can get probably the hottest name in cruising, females for sure, Kendall Fire. But if you're not going after females, MarQ or Jackie Tang are probably two of the hottest names among the Carnival cruise directors. You can get either one of them for $3, Kendall Fire, MarQ, Jackie Tang. For $2, if you want to bring back some more legends at a cheaper price, you got Emma, you got Jamie D, and you got Mike Pack. Only $1. Any other cruise director that's only been a cruise director for 1 to 3 years on Carnival, you can choose that choice. Now, for your port of calls, in other words, you come in a day early, you want to party a day before the cruise, and then you're ready to go the next morning. Miami's going to cost you $5. New Orleans is going to cost you $4. Galveston's going to cost you $3. Long Beach, $2. Norfolk's only going to cost you $1. Itineraries. You want to do the ABCs? It costs you $5. Aruba, Bonaire, Curaçao. All right. For $4, you can go to the Saints, the St. Martin, the St. Thomas, Amber Cove, and San Juan. For $3, you can get yourself to Cozumel, Roatan, Belize, and Grand Cayman. For $2, losing my place here. You can get to Celebration Key, Cozumel, Roatan, and Nassau. And for $1, you can do Nassau, Celebration Key, and Key. All right, now we're talking about your cabins. Your cabins for $5, you can do a Havana Vista class cabin that'll get you in the Havana area where there's a pool, 2 hot tubs, you got your own semi-private bar, pool, and hot tubs. For a small group of people, if you're in the Havana area, you can get that for $5. You can get a junior suite on an XL class ship for $4. Any balcony, any ship, standard balcony, $3. Any ocean view, standard ocean view, any ship, $2. Any standard interior, $1. And finally, what are you going to eat for $5? You can have the chef's table, a true dining experience, amazing. For $4, Steakhouse, which I love, or the bonsai teppanyaki, which is a lot of fun, and I love it. $3 will get you to Cucina, Italian dining experience, or JiJis, the Asian dining experience. For $2, you can go to the main dining room, which they usually have a pretty good menu in the main dining room. And for $1, you're going to the buffet. So serve yourself and hope that they have a good, choice of food, which they usually do at the buffet. So that's what you get. So yeah, if you want to put your choices down, they can't total more than $15. Anybody that are the two people that are closest to my selections are going to get this fancy Coach Cruise hat sent to them. You just got to mess with the dress. I'll take care of the rest. All right. Stephanie is saying, happy birthday, Coach. Something wrong with my YouTube. It's not working. Well, I'm sorry. Or Steven, I'm sorry. I said, I don't know. I had a few shots. You got to forgive me. So sorry about that, Stefan. Appreciate it. Seg is saying, happy birthday, Coach, and hey to everybody. Tim G. So far, we have 2 people matched Read to you, coach. Okay, so far, nobody has got me exactly right, but two people are within three of me. So far, two people are winning that hat. What that means is get a couple more entries in. We still have almost 15 minutes until the hour is up. So, last couple minutes of the show, I will share my selection with you, and I will show it right on the screen there so you can see I didn't do anything funny or scratch anything out or whatever else like that. All right. So, here we go. Thank you, everybody, first of all, for all the birthday wishes. And I really do appreciate that. Just to give you an idea of what's going to happen, is I'm 35 now, or inverted 30, whichever you choose to. I prefer you choose the 35 part, but if you want to invert it, you can do that too. Um, but thank you all the same. Yeah, so this weekend, no, well, kind of big plans because I don't honestly, I don't really do a lot of cruising related. So gonna go out of town. My birthday is actually Friday, February 20th. I'm a Pisces, and we're Bridget and I, my girlfriend, we are headed to Milwaukee, and we are going to do a brewery tour. These were choices of mine. Uh, so I wanted something that wasn't going to break the bank, but something that would be fun and a little bit different or whatever. So headed up to Milwaukee, going to do a brewery tour, the Miller Brewery Tour, and then hit a steakhouse. Yes, good steakhouses in Milwaukee. And then after that, hit the Potawatomi Mini Casino and press my luck with some blackjack, maybe some craps, maybe some slots. But yeah, and they have some live music going on at Potawatomi Casino up there as well. So that is the plan for this weekend, birthday weekend, and looking forward to that. And yeah, so for the birthday. But thank you all for the birthday wishes and the birthday super chats and everything. That's super awesome. Love you all. And me and Tim, speaking of birthday wishes and super chats and everything, he has informed me that there is a bourbon coming to my doorstep sometime this week, to add to my bourbon collection. So I'm super excited about that. And Edmonton, you all know it. So thank you for that. And we got Legion Rider just looked, and YouTube is having issues as of 7:30. Okay, yeah, I thought our numbers were a little lower than normal. That sucks. But Erica Keller has found us on Facebook. He's saying happy birthday. So thank you, Erica. And yeah, so any more votes? Let's get those votes in if we can. And yeah, let's get some votes in here now and see. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and announce the two winners once I share my votes, or I share my results. Or what. This is water, by the way, not vodka. I'm trying to, minimize some of those 4 shots or 5 shots. Is it 4 or 5 shots? By the way, anybody that's new, Mary, Mary, I was about to say, so anybody that's new, how the super chat works. Once we reach 100, I do a drawing. So right now we're at 90. If we get 10 more in super chats, we'll do the drawing tonight. If by some chance we don't get another 10 in super chats, then next week or whenever we hit 100, that's when we will do a drawing. Say your choice of cooler, t-shirt, whatever. So Henry from last week is 1 through 5. Mike Clark from this week started off this week 6 through 15. JB is 16 through 40. Andrew 41 through 60. Lisa Ryder 61 through 70. Mary 71 through 75, and cruising Chris Moss 76 through 90. That's what we got going on. All right. I'm not seeing any new entries, so I kind of feel like I should go on with my choices and share with you what I chose. If there's anybody that's finishing up an entry, post it in the comments now really quick so I can know to like wait before I share my results because once I start sharing my results, it's so so here I'll take a little sip of my drink here and I'll wait just a second because I know I'm on a delay. I know there's commercials that happen between the thing and stuff like that. So intermission, while I take a drink of my bourbon and coke. That's good. All right. We're going to go ahead and start going through my results. Okay. So, yeah, you know what? So, Sega's YouTube is kind of crazy right now. Apologies for any YouTube, whatever. Um, and, if you got your votes in early, that's why they say vote early, vote often, right? Uh, okay. So, Tim is saying Gerard and Angie have three that match you. Okay, so here's how we're doing it, Tim. Um, the three that match me, obviously, that's that's great. They don't lose any points for that. So on the two, for example, that they don't match me on, how far away are they? Are they two numbers away? Are they one number away? You know, so if they're two numbers away, that would be -2. If they're only one number away, that would be a -1. So that's how you determine who's first, who's second. That's how we're going to do that. It probably won't matter because if they have three matching, they're probably going to be the top two anyway. But just to be fair, because so I don't know if that changes the math, but we'll go over this. All right. So for $2, my cruise director was Jamie D. All right. Now, some of you don't even know who Jamie D is. And let me tell you why I chose Jamie D. Because I went through and there was other selections that I wanted to make. Obviously, Lee and Cookie, they've been on my channel. They're awesome. Like, I wanted to pick them. And when I went through the other stuff that I wanted, I'm like, damn, I'm not going to have enough money. And Cookie, I know. And then not only Cookie, but other cruise directors as well um, have that I've talked to, interviewed, have told me about Jamie D and the inspiration that she was to. And, like I got to get Jamie D on the show. And Jamie and I have messaged back and forth before, but I've heard so many great things about her, and I kid you not, from so many other cruise directors that have said she was an inspiration to them and a mentor for them to becoming cruise directors and stuff like that, including cooking. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Like, I wish I had her as a cruise director. So for only $2, that is why I chose Jamie D. Okay, so if you did the $2 option, then it doesn't have to be JBD, but that's what I chose. Now, I will say on this next one, I skipped it and I went down to the other three and came back. And I'm like, how much money do I have left? I got $3 left. Okay, I'll do Gal. Because honestly, if I had more money left over, I would have picked Miami or New Orleans. Um, because Miami or New Orleans, honestly, I'm sorry, Galveston. It's more of a party, more fun, that for day zero than Galveston. But Galveston's pretty cool too. But that's how much money I had left, so that's how I ended up with Galveston. Galveston was my choice for the three moves. All right, now my ports of call. The ABCs are awesome. I've done them many times. The Saints are awesome. I've done that a few times. St. Martin, St. Thomas. Uh, but for $3, and again, this was a budget saving to make sure I didn't go over 15 kind of thing. I might have picked ABCs or the Saints if I had enough money, but I love Cozumel. Rotan's really good. Belize is underrated. And Grand Cayman, 7 Mile Beach is amazing. So for 4 points for $3, Cozumel, Roatan, Belize, Grand Cayman, $3 choice. That's why I went with that. So I'm at $8, and I still got two choices left. So we got $7 on these next two. All right. So for my cabin, I've said this many times. So for many of you, if you were picking to win the prize, I feel like you would have chosen this because I've said many, many times how amazing I feel like the Havana area is on a Vista class ship, not on the XL class, on a Vista class ship. That's why I specifically said Havana Vista class balcony, because the Havana um, area on the Carnival Vista, Carnival Horizon, Carnival Penguin, they have their own pool. They have two separate hot tubs. The bar is right there. It's at the back of the ship. You've got an infinity pool. It's fabulous. Okay. So that's why I picked that one. So that is the one $5 selection I had. And that is the Havana Vista class balcony. All right. That left me with $2. And Chef's Table is amazing. It really genuinely is amazing. I would suggest everybody do it. The Steakhouse and Bonsai Teppanyaki, great. I've done them both. Sometimes I've done them both on the same cruise. Great. Have a good time. Have a great meal. Virtually every time, I go to either one of those places. Cucina, really good. JiJis, really good. Main dining room can be really, really, really good. I think the main dining room is underrated. Like there are menu changes daily. You have formal nights where the menu is upgraded a little bit. Like one night especially, you can get sea bass, you can get prime rib, you can get lobster. I mean that there are some great selections and a great variety. So for $2, main dining room was my choice. And $2 with Jaime D, $3 with Galveston, $3 with the Cozumel Itinerary, $5 with the Havana Vista class balcony, and $2 main dining room. That adds up to $15. So, Edmonton was Angie and Jared. I think you said, are they still the two winners based on the math? Okay, so yeah, Nintem says they both had a total of 10, and the next closest was 8. Mary Schaefer. Look what Mary did for us. She got us to 100. Let me write Mary in here. 91 through 100. All right. So here's what's going to happen. We got Larry saying happy birthday. Thank you, Larry. Legion Rider says we will be in a Havana on a Vista in April. And I love it. I honestly, this summer, I'm going to be on Horizon for 2 weeks. I'm currently not in a Havana cabin. I know some upgrade people, angels, fairies, whatever you call them. A lot of people call them the upgrade fairy, called me, whatever. Uh, I'm hoping the upgrade fairy and I can connect. It usually is anywhere from 350 to 450 out of the cabin I'm currently in to the Havana area. I want to get back in the Havana area for at least one of the two cruises that I'm on a 6-day and then an 8-day on the Carnival Horizon in June. I'm hoping I can get there. So that's the goal. But the Havana area is awesome. So yeah. Angie says I was on in November and December, loved it, and I was in the Havana area. Angie and Charlie's Angels were together a couple years ago. We all cruised with Cookie and Angie. As a matter of fact, some of you have seen that one of those intros I have with Cookie, and he says, "Oh, Coach Cruz, whatever, one of the older intros or outros, whatever you want to call them." I think Angie was behind the camera of that. So yeah, thank you for that, Angie. So yeah, so here we go. I read all the numbers, right? I forget whether I read the numbers or not. I'm truly it's truly hitting me. Henry 1 through 5, Mike Clark 6 through 15, JB 16 through 40, Angie 41 through 60, Legion Rider 61 through 70, Mary 71 through 75, Chris Cruising Chris Moss 76 through 90, and Mary once again 91 through 100. So let's zero this screen out here. You see it is 8 o'clock Central Time, which means the hour is up. And just in time, we're going to do the drawing here. I read off all the names. Congratulations, by the way. I think Gerard and Ken confirm. Gerard and Angie, get these hats. And Angie and Gerard, if can you message me your address once again so I can get those in the mail? JP, I already owe a shirt, and I will be sending that this week. And JB's wife, and then whoever wins right now, I'm going to owe a shirt or a cooler. So we're going to find that out. Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. 94. Oh my goodness, look at that. Mary is like, you know what? Let's get you to 100. And then that's what happens. See, you try to put good into the world, and then you get rewarded. So Mary Schaefer was 91 through 100. The number was 94. Congratulations, Mary. Message me your address. Let me know what you want. If you want the cooler, if you want a Coach Cruz shirt, whether it's old school, the new design shirts, I'm running low on, so you'll have to let me know your size on that, and I'll let you know if I have the size, if that's what you want. If you don't want the cooler, one of the original design, but the original design I have, and most of the colors I have pink, I have blue, I have black, I have lime, and I even have in small and medium some yellow, and it looks like 2XL in yellow. And purple I have in small. Those are all the different colors I have. If you want one of the original design, this is the original design. There's a big logo on the back that looking at the wrong thing. Says that has the dog with the sunglasses, can't get away from good time and all that. So yes, congratulations, Mary, and thank you everybody. Fun episode. Enjoyed doing this little activity. I've enjoyed the interviews and what you all knows. Again, my selections were Jamie D as cruise director for $2, the Port of Galveston for $3, Cozumel, Roatan, Belize, Grand for $3, Havana Vista class balcony. That was my big bucks expenditure $5, and then $2 in the main dining room. Added up to $15. That was the max budget that you could spend, and that's what I did. Mary says, I've got 2 T-shirts, so I'll take the cooler. Okay, very cool. You will get that cooler. And Mary, message me, Brad Dowling, you know my name. And yeah, congratulations. We will see you all next week. Next week, we are getting close to ending February, which is great. And once we get into March, that's cruise season for me. We're starting March Madness and basketball and cruising and all that good stuff. So, all right, everybody, take care. Have a great week. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace, everybody.